It's been a good intermission, but it's time to jump back into our top 22 South and Central American cichlid series. If you haven't seen the first two videos covering the first 9 of our favorite South and Central American cichlids, I'll put a link for each video in the upper right hand corner. If you're new to the channel, you might be asking yourself, why the number 22? As veterans, we both have had friends who have struggled with mental health and lost some to suicide. So the number 22 signifies the number of veterans that unfortunately take their lives daily. This series is meant to bridge our passion with the hobby, but to also bring awareness as best we can to this issue. And hopefully, by providing our experiences in fish keeping, we can share how valuable this hobby has been for our own mental health. It really is something that provides us with a peace, passion, and purpose, and we hope that you all enjoy today's video. In today's video, I'll start the list with one of my favorite South American cichlid species. Instead of trying to cover this fish independently, we decided that because of the similarities, we'd stay species specific. And this species is the Geofagus. Here at my house, I've got the Geofagus pyrocephalus or redhead tapajos and the Geofagus abelios, and Will has a young pair of Geofagus finni in his 150-gallon setup. For me, I bought both of these fish in the 1 to 3 inch range and grew them out in a 55-gallon aquarium with plans of adding them to a large South American cichlid tank when they were big enough to fend for themselves. It's a fish that I really love for any South or Central American setup because they show very little aggression towards most other fish, mostly saving any aggression that they do have between themselves. They are beautiful fish with dominant cichlids developing really beautiful trailers. They normally grow between 5 to 6 inches, and if you're looking for a fish to help you keep your substrate pristine, these are definitely a great investment. All Geofagus are known for their sand sifting behavior and will literally make sure that there is no uneaten food left at the bottom of the tank. Geofagus are omnivores, who I've had success feeding the extreme peewee, big fella, and community crave flake. It's recommended when purchasing these fish to purchase in groups, and in my case, I've had great success in ordering them in groups of 3. Geofagus species are found in the waterways throughout South America and are best kept in temperatures ranging from 75 to 82 degrees. The recommended tank size for these fish at full maturity is nothing smaller than 90 gallons. These are cichlids that normally do great with large and some of your more aggressive cichlids, as they can defend themselves fairly well when at the right size. For tank mates, here you can see the 6 Geofagus in my 210-gallon housed with a large tiger oscar, 2 tiger severums, 1 red spot severum, and a juvenile Meso Ornatus. At Will's, his Paris Venni are housed with a true Parrot, green terror, and a chili red oscar, amongst other less aggressive cichlids, and we both have enjoyed little to no aggression in either aquarium. This next fish is one that I absolutely love, the Zingu Pike. Like 95% of the fish that I've purchased, I bought this fish at the 2 to 3 inch range, placing it right into my 125 South American tank in the military room. I immediately loved it for its color and activity, as it really provides something different in the tank. Like any aggressive cichlid, it is important to monitor behavior as they age. My Zingu Pike went from one that was relatively peaceful as a juvenile to being an absolute monster within a matter of a month. It was very selective in the fish that it would target though, targeting mostly the 3 Geofagus and the 1 threadfin acara that I had in that aquarium. This fish is a carnivorous fish, known for its predatory nature, and will eat anything that it can kill in the aquarium. Like most of my fish, I've had success feeding this monster with both extreme big fella and monster pellets. The same time that its aggression peaked was the same time that I was building the 210-gallon South American setup in the basement. And as much as I wanted this guy to go in there, it was time for me to isolate him. And for now, he's in this 60-gallon setup until I can build him his forever home. The Zingu Pike originates in fast-flowing Brazilian waterways, so they prefer to be kept in aquariums with similar conditions. I'd suggest keeping them in temperatures between 80 and 84 degrees, being sure to equip a wave maker providing a pretty strong current. The maximum size for this fish in captivity is normally around 12 inches, and the minimum tank size recommended is at least a 125-gallon aquarium. For tank mates, I'd recommend being very selective. In my experience, I've noticed that if its tank mates are larger with the same temperament, there is really no issue. But when keeping some of your more moderate in size and less aggressive cichlids, it just doesn't work. I've even tried to temporarily, when moving fish around the fish room, house this guy with one of my female red tiger motas, and within 5 minutes, her tail fin had been nipped terribly. So I immediately separated him, and he hasn't had a tank mate since. If you've watched our channel for a while now, then you know that I love my pet fish, and soon, this guy will have a completely scaped aquarium all to himself, so stay tuned for that. The next fish on the list has required some real patience, and it is the Meso Ornatus. Earlier this year, I went down to Lakeland, Florida, and was lucky enough to get a tour of Imperial Tropicals. On that tour, I was able to handpick several fish, and when I had explained to Carly, one of Imperial's employees, just how much I'd enjoyed my red terror, she was quick to show me this fish. Unlike the red terror, where the females are the more beautiful of the sexes, the males in this species are the ones to get all the color. And with her experience with this fish, she told me that she would try her best to make sure that I got a male. So she picked the fish, packed it up, and the day that I got off travel, I was able to unbox this guy. So why did I have to be patient? Well, this cichlid, much like the green terror, are notorious for growing slow. I've now owned this fish for 10 months, and he is just now starting to put on both size and color. The research that I've done and some of the videos that I've watched on this fish show the same. But when they get to maturity, man, they can truly be a sight to behold. For me, this was one of the more expensive 2 to 3 inch fish that I've ever purchased, buying him at around $70 at that size. So I was very careful about how I raised him. I started him off in a 10-gallon tank all by himself, allowing the ability to keep his water as clean as possible and to target feed. Once he'd reached about 3 to 4 inches, I added him to this 55-gallon with 3 Geofagus ablios, 1 green terror, and thankfully had no aggression. Now that he's about 5 inches, I felt comfortable in adding him to my 210 and hope that by increasing the volume of water with ideal parameters, I can potentially increase his growth rate. The Meso Ornatus originates from the coastlines of Colombia and Ecuador, and like most South American cichlids, enjoy temperatures ranging from 76 to 82 degrees. This cichlid doesn't normally grow larger than 10 inches, so the recommended tank size that I'd recommend is a 75-gallon alone or in pairs. It's a carnivorous fish, and like all of my other aquariums, I've had success with the extreme diet. For tank mates, I'd recommend any South or Central American cichlids with similar size and disposition. I've had success with the redhead tapajos, the Geofagus albios, severums, and the green terror. Well, that wraps everything over here up, so let's head over to Will's and see what fish he'll add to the list.
How's everybody doing? This is Will from Sick Psyche, and today we're jumping back into our top 22. We're going to start this off with the true parrot. The true parrot is a fish that I just recently got when I set up my 150-gallon tank. I got it from Mike's house because we decided to go a different direction with our tanks, and this is a fish I just acquired, so I'm slowly getting to know this fish as it stays in my house. So the true parrot originates in the rivers of Brazil and the upper Orinoco Basin in Venezuela. The true parrot, it can grow in sizes up to 14 inches, but if they're well fed and taken care of, they have been known to exceed 16 inches. That's a pretty big fish in my opinion. The recommended tank size for the true parrot is 30 gallons if you're going to keep one, but the rule of thumb is 10 additional gallons per additional fish. As always, I believe the bigger the better, so I would always say start out with a 75 at least because of the size this fish can actually get. The normal water parameters for the true parrot should be kept between 70 to 82 degrees, and their diet it's actually a flexible diet because they like stuff high in protein. They can also eat pellets, they can eat flakes, but they'll also eat frozen foods such as bloodworms and things of that nature. Typical tank mates are other South American cichlids such as the severums, angelfish, Geofagus, and even the chocolate cichlid, and this is due to their semi-aggressive and territorial behavior. The next fish we're going to talk about is the blood parrot cichlid. This is a fish that the true parrot is commonly mistaken for, but I promise you they are two separate fish. The blood parrot was first developed in Taiwan around 1986, and it made my list because it's a hybrid fish derived from a mix of mostly Central American fish such as the Midas and redhead cichlid, which are two fish that I like. So there are also other fish that are said to be the creator of the blood parrot, such as the Severum and the red devil cichlid. The blood parrot was a fish that I purchased from my local fish store, Nova Tropical, that just recently closed down. But I walked in, I saw this fish. It looked like it was smiling at me when I walked by the tank. So I stopped, asked the guys in there, hey, what type of fish this is? They told me. And as I was moving around, I noticed it had a lot of personality and followed me around back and forth. So I immediately told them, hey, bag them up and take them home. A typical tank setup for the blood parrot is sandy substrates with rocks and lots of hiding places. The normal temperature should be between 72 and 82 degrees, and they actually prefer planted tanks since they are not known diggers and their mouths are too small to destroy the plants. My blood parrot has been kept in a variety of setups, from a 55-gallon tank by itself to its forever home that it's in now, which is a 150-gallon tank with different Severums, Geofagus, angelfish, waru, and electric blue cars. My fish currently gets a diet of extreme big fella pellets and extreme flakes, and on occasion, I like to feed them bloodworms. Now we're gonna hop right over to the waru cichlid, also known as the triangle cichlid, even though for the life of me, I can't understand why they're called the triangle cichlid. These fish are found throughout the backwaters of the Amazon basin. In the aquarium, the warus are known to grow up to sizes of 12 inches or larger, and due to this, should be kept in tanks that are 125 gallons or larger, in my personal opinion. They prefer water temperatures between 80 to 84 degrees. The tank is best scaped using driftwood, rocky formations, and fake plants, since they actually will eat most live plants. Make sure you leave plenty of swimming space, since they love open swimming areas. Since the waru is classified as a peaceful fish, they can be kept in community tanks with other peaceful fish such as silver dollars, tetras, gourami, severums, and angelfish. They should not be kept with aggressive or boisterous fish, and they are usually only confrontational with other waru cichlids. Now, for the last fish that you're going to hear me talk about before I hand this over to Mike, is the Severum cichlid. The Severum, also known as the banded cichlid or poor man's discus, are native to the Amazon, Orinoco, and Essequibo river basins in South America. The original wild form of the Severum originated in Brazil and Peru. When researching this fish, the first question I asked myself is, why are they such popular aquarium fish? And the only answers I've been able to find, or the best answers I've been able to find, is that their striking appearance, their peaceful temperament, and the ease of care. The Severums are some of the easiest fish to care for because they have a very, very mild temperament. The Severums are some of the best fish for community aquariums, and because they can live with other non-aggressive fish, and also because of the beautiful colors and the varieties they come in. When deciding to keep Severum cichlids, tank size, in my opinion, is probably one of the most important questions because of and I say this because of the sizes they can grow up to, and they can get up to 12 to 14 inches in sizes. And because of this, I wouldn't start with anything less than a 75-gallon tank for maybe one or two. But if you're going to keep any more than that, got to go up to a 125 or better, or bigger, in my opinion. A typical tank setup for the Severum cichlid is fine sandy substrate, because they like to dig in the sand, making hills and pits. Plants are a great addition along with flat rocky surfaces, but in those breeding tanks, because Severums are known to lay eggs on flat surfaces. Their diet is a typical omnivorous diet, and I feed mine pellets and flakes. Like the rest of my tanks, they get extreme peewee pellets and extreme krill flakes. Typical tank mates for the Severum are the blood parrot, red-tailed shark, silver dollarfish, tiger barb, green terror, and even the Oscar. Well, that completes 16 of our top 22 South and Central American cichlids. Stay tuned for the final 6 fish as we complete our top 22 list. Please don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and until next time, be safe.